Hi friends, welcome back to S'more Campfire Stories with Alli. I'm Alli, and this is Scout, and that's Timber, and we're so happy that you're here. Today's story is The Seed Who Was Afraid to Be Planted. I'm so thankful to author Anthony DeStefano for giving me permission to share this wonderful story and its beautiful illustrations with you today. If you enjoy today's story, I'll leave a link in the description below where a grown-up can learn more about the book and purchase a copy for your family's library. Before we begin, I want you to think about something. Have you ever been afraid to try something new? Maybe it was your first day of school, trying a new sport, meeting a new friend, or learning something that seemed really hard. And sometimes new things can feel a little scary, but they can also lead to something wonderful. Do you ever think a seed could be scared? Well, let's see what happens when one little seed learns to be brave. And don't forget to stay with me till the end because we're going to make a fun craft that connects with the story. I can't wait to show you. So, grab your favorite blanket, snuggle up with someone you love, and let's imagine we're sitting around a warm campfire together. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hey, here is our story, The Seed Who Was Afraid to Be Planted by Anthony DeStefano. There once was a seed who lived in a drawer in a room of a mansion by a beautiful shore. The drawer was filled up with seeds of all kinds, for bushes and trees and flowering vines. The seed was quite happy and had lots to do. The drawer was quite pretty and painted bright blue. Cozy and warm, the seed felt secure. The drawer was a playground, of this he was sure. Do you think the little seed is happy where he is? How can you tell? But all was not well. The seed was afraid that he would be taken and planted one day. The mansion, you see, was owned by a man whose hobby was gardening and tending his land. What do you think the little seed is afraid will happen if he gets planted? The man sometimes took a seed from the drawer, and no one would see that seed anymore. The seed was so scared there might come a day the man would reach down and take him away. The thought was just awful and hard to believe. He couldn't imagine that he'd have to leave. If you were one of these seeds, what would you be thinking right now? Then one dark day, the drawer opened wide. The seed saw a hand reach down from outside. He tried to escape. He begged and he cried, but there was no place to run or to hide. The hand clasped about him. The seed shook with fear. He yelled to the man, "Don't take me from here!" Outside in the garden, the seed looked around. He saw to his horror a hole in the ground. A hole in the ground! Oh no, it can't be! I want to go back to my drawer. Can't you see? I'm scared to be planted. I want to be free. I'm in so much pain and such agony. The man was just silent. He made not a sound. He just smiled softly and put the seed down. The sky was deep purple. The seed said a prayer. The man stood above him and buried him there. He started to moan. He started to groan. He felt so abandoned, forsaken, alone. Tired and frightened, he started to weep. but soon closed his eyes and fell fast asleep. All covered with dirt, he dreamed he would die, but then all at once, in the blink of an eye, something took place there in that hole. To the seed's weary body and terrified soul, he started to change. He started to glow. The little seed stretched and started to grow. "What can be happening?" the little seed cried. "What is this feeling I have deep inside?" What do you think is happening to the little seed now? His body expanded, he swelled and he grew. He rose in the dirt till his head wiggled through. Once through the soil, he saw a great light. The sun in the sky was dazzlingly bright. Slowly but surely, the seed was aware of rising and climbing up into the air. At last, the seed realized, at last he could see. He was really and truly becoming a tree. Was the little seed right to be afraid of being planted? Why or why not? Higher and higher the little tree went. Into the heavens he made his ascent. Suddenly branches sprang from his side, hundreds and hundreds of leaves multiplied. The branches grew nuts and fruits that hung down. They swayed in the breeze and covered the ground. Then, filling the air with fragrant perfumes, the tree sprouted flowers and blossoms and blooms. Then birds began building nests for their young, joyfully flapping their wings as they sung. In the tree's branches, the baby birds napped, while woodpeckers pecked at his bark full of sap. Cardinals and blue jays flew from above. They played with the eagles and owls and doves. Squirrels and rabbits began to appear. Beautiful butterflies came flying near. The tree was amazed. He looked at the scene. The sky was so blue, the garden so green. Mountains and vineyards and cities he saw. Millions of mansions looked over the shore. The tree was so thankful and heavy with fruit. He bowed to the man in humble salute. The man stood below, a smile on his face. His children were running all over the place. Why do you think the tree thanked the man? They climbed up the tree. They swung from his vines. They seemed to be having the happiest time. The garden was sunlit. The tree was aware of laughter and music and life everywhere. Life in the garden, life on the shore, so much more life than he had in the drawer. A breeze stirred his leaves, a wind howled through. The tree understood that all things were new. The tree understood that he had been freed. He barely remembered when he was a seed. He barely remembered his life in the drawer. His fears disappeared and returned nevermore. The end.
What a beautiful story. That little seed was afraid of what might happen if it was planted. But once it trusted the process, something amazing happened. It grew into exactly what it was created to be. Let's talk about it. Here are a few questions to think and talk about with your family. You can pause the video if you like. Why do you think the seed was afraid? Have you ever been nervous about trying something new? What happened when you were brave? What do you think this story is teaching us? Scout has a special question. Do you think God had a special plan for that little seed all along? I do, Scout. Sometimes we just can't see what God is doing in our lives. We may feel scared, lonely, or like nothing is happening, but just like the little seed, God is growing something beautiful inside us. We just have to trust Him. So, the moral of the story is that sometimes the things we're most afraid of are the very things God uses to help us grow into who He created us to be. I love thinking about those questions with you today. Now it's
Campfire craft time!
Now it's time for our special craft. Look who came to visit our campfire today. This is Chuck the Chia Head. Want to learn how to make one? Well, today we're going to learn how to make our very own chia head. First, you will need to decorate a cup by drawing a funny face on it. Next, you will fill it with soil, plant some chia seeds, and give it a little water. And you can also use grass seed if you have that. Last, give it some sun and love. Over the next several days, you'll get to watch the chia plant grow right out of the top of the cup, just like hair. And here's mine. Isn't he funny? He is starting to grow after just 2 days. And there are so many different ways that you can decorate your own. You could use googly eyes, craft paper, markers, or even just keep it simple like I did. You can even give your chia head a funny haircut as it grows, or give it a funny name, just like I named mine Chuck. Every time you watch it grow, I hope it reminds you of today's story, that amazing things can happen when we're brave enough to grow. Ask a grown-up to leave us a comment below and tell us what you named your chia head. Thank you so much for joining us around the campfire today. If you enjoyed today's story, be sure to ask a grown-up to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Before we say goodbye, I have something exciting to share. Be sure to join Scout, Timber, and me on the last Saturday of July for the very first original Scout and Timber adventure story. That's right! In 4th of July Campout, Scout and Timber spent an unforgettable holiday weekend, camping together and discovering the true meaning of Independence Day through friendship, family, and being thankful. I can't wait to share this special adventure with you. We'll see you around the campfire. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and keep being kind. See you soon, campers.